Alrighty, welcome back. I actually want to do a very quick video. It's going to be maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at most, in which I refine my system, right? We just finished this giant back test, 172% on NQ, and we did great on it, but we can do way better. One thing that comes or is very important when it comes to investing large sums of capital actually comes down to allocating your money very smartly. Right? You don't want to throw a lot of money at things that might go. You want to be very sure about your investment. And here you can notice a lot of areas where I was putting money into something that might go. Money into something that might go, right? Money into something that might go. And now it's my job to go back and refine. Okay, what happened during these times? What did the entries look like? How could I prevented half of these losses or break evens in this case? Well, as you guys saw, I was able to reduce my average loss from 1% to 0.4%, which is wonderful. Something I never thought I'd be able to do, but here we are, and we did very well. Most of these trades that I ended up taking were in zones or areas that I anticipated it to go, and I had to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 break evens before we got that one that kind of ran. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 before it ran. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 before it ran. 1, 2, 3 before it ran. 1, 2, 3 potentially before it ran. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before we got even a small partial. So now I'm going to go back and review what happened during that specific time in the market. So jumping into January, I believe is where we started, 2025. We're going to be somewhere around here. And I was looking for longs. So I'll keep this video relatively short. From January 23rd-ish. So I'll just mark it down with some lines. January 23rd to, let's say, February 18th. Okay, it looks like maybe here we got the small runner off of this guy. Well, this is where we had a ton of break evens. Now we're going to go over here. We're going to go to May 5th. May 5th to effectively like here, May 14th. Interesting, right? May 9th, my bad. A lot of break evens in there. And then a lot of break evens. Let's do this session. May 27th to even like right around here. Hang on. May 20. Where was it? May 27th to about 6-9. So okay, my bad. And then a lot of break evens, probably around. What was this? May, June, July 10th. Lots of break evens here up to July 25th. And then a lot of break evens from, let's say that's about it. So looking at these general zones. Now this video could be not very good for a lot of people because, well, it's gonna require a lot of experience to be able to see what's going on here and why we may have taken a lot of break evens and losses. Okay, now I want to figure out how I want to approach this. Coming here. It's going to be kind of hard. I'm probably just going to go into replay mode at this point. Okay, well, everything looks good. First of all, where were we in market delivery? Accumulation, break 1, break 2, break 3, fail down, accumulation, break 1. Well, we were halfway through the accumulation, or in this case, reaccumulation at this point. We broke down, broke back up. So maybe let's see, May 7th. I want to see how long this. My apologies. We'll actually start from the very beginning, which is going to be this area. It's going to be very hard to be able to track down these losses and identify the reasons behind them. But I'm going to do my best and see if I notice anything. And maybe I don't, but you never know, right? Just going back to previous price action. There we go. I'm trying to identify what happened here. I mean, we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 break-evens for the most part. Now, I'm not saying this is bad, but it's good to identify what happened here. And it's clear what happened here. Chop. This is on the daily, though. And it's almost coming down to the market condition. It has nothing to do with my entry, or hopefully not. It has to do with what's going on in the higher time frame context here. And it's that we're still accumulating at this point. I can wait for accumulation to prove itself, and then on these build outs follow it through. Or, as I tried to do, I try to scalp my little insights in here, which isn't that bad. Now I'm going to go in and highlight entries, probably on the hourly. So 4 hour, I'm just going to drag the lines to at what point I'd start looking at the market, which would be right around here. Then step down to the hourly and pinpoint entries. If anything, I'm trying to figure out what I want to color it with. Entry, 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 entry. Entry. Probably nothing here. Maybe in there. Yeah, and now I'm starting to see why. There's entries on the hires at least everywhere. There's a lot of price action here. Okay, probably nothing here. And we'll call it good there. Now, what we're gonna do is step down to the 20. Hopefully we have enough price action history. And then in a different color, we are going to make this red. And this is going to be our quote unquote entry. Oh. Our entry colors here. So on the 20, we had an entry here, had an entry here, had an entry here. And keep in mind, this is almost like fractals. Well, this is fractals. Look at the fractals of what's going on in here. Entries in here, in here, in here. And here in a second, we're going to dive in back deeper to see what's actually going on there. Falls back down. Probably the only entry in there. Entry. Maybe an entry here. Entry here. Entry here. Gaps up. Entry here. Entry here. Okay. Keeping it very simple, and you'll see how all this comes together here in a second. Entry here, comes back down, entry here. Keep in mind this is our validation type time frame. entry here, entry here, entry here, entry here, likely entry in here, entry in here, and entry in here. Entry in here, entry in here, entry here, entry here, entry here, and entry here. Entry here, entry here, entry here, entry here. Entry here, entry here, entry here. Entry here, potentially entry here. Now, I'm not saying these are good trades either. I'm highlighting every potential setup that could appear. Maybe even all the way up here and up here. And then what we're going to do here in a second, entry here, entry here, entry here, entry here. Falls back down, entry here, and entry here. And entry here. So now, check this cool thing out. We're going to step up to the hourly. And we're going to see something. This is going to go in line with two videos ago, in which I was looking at what point is a market extended. And this is going to be one of the most wonderful things you guys can do for yourselves, right? We can actually get rid of this guy now. We'll just go ahead and close that. And close it just all the way. And now we're going to analyze where were the entries. Step back down to the 20 here for a second. Where were the entries? At what point in the market did they appear within other phases? So if we step up to hourly, what market condition were we in? Did it deliver? Did it not? Looking at this would have been a phenomenal entry. I'm actually going to do something now. I'm going to go through first, looking at every single entry that's available. Entry here. Okay, this is where I love to see my entries. This is where some entries are okay. Remember, this is the hourly. This is where sometimes I will take an entry, right? This, I love to see entries here, here, too far displaced for me, comes back down, builds back up on the hourly, good, on the hourly, good, on the hourly, good, good. So these are all okay entries, good. Slightly extended for me. If we're looking at this as some sort of accumulation or even this, then maybe. Comes back down to MA, I like that, good. Good, no entries up here, good. We fail back down, start building back up. Good, comes to MAs, good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry. Actually, all these are pretty dang good entries. Good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry, probably extended at this point. Good entry, good entry, good entry. This might be given the choppiness of the market as well, given that we're just chopping back and forth a little bit. Good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry, good entry, perfect entry. Probably not an entry in here. Maybe. Now we're going to look at something here in a second, actually. Good entry, good entry. This is where the market gets a little iffy. Oh yeah, I do remember trading this price action. I remember I was telling you guys I want to see this thing crash down. Did end up crashing down and then building back up here in the near future. Yeah, so at this point, this is where the market got a little questionable for me. It started writing the MA. I didn't like that one bit. Fell back down, built back up, and at this point, I took several entries in here. I wanted to see this thing go, and then I either said, hey, I want to see this thing just take off or recollapse, and it did end up collapsing. But yeah, all these are actually really well placed. So now what I'm going to do is go look at the ones that didn't deliver, all the red marks. Delivered, probably didn't deliver, so I'll step down to a 20, and I'm going to change the ones that didn't deliver to a different color. Just as a general idea. Delivered, but not that much. Delivered, didn't deliver. So this one we're going to change to yellow, a bright yellow. Delivered, barely delivered, didn't deliver, yellow. Didn't really deliver. I'll change it. So as a fail. Delivered, didn't really deliver. And this is going to show us something super awesome about our trading system. Delivered, probably break even, but still moved up. Delivered. I'm still going to change this one to yellow. Anything that didn't deliver super cleanly, I'm going to change. Delivered. Maybe not. Delivered, didn't deliver. Didn't deliver. Kind of delivered. Failed back down, which was this guy. Kind of delivered. Didn't deliver. Didn't deliver. Kind of delivered. This one just kind of fell back down, but kind of failed there. Kind of failed. We'll mark these two as fails. Okay, delivered, failed. Failed. We're going to do something really cool. We're going to go, and I'll tell you here in a second. Didn't deliver. Delivered, failed to deliver. Okay. What do you guys think we're going to do now? This is going to be so amazing. Step up to the hourly now. And guess what? Now we can identify moments in the market in which we simply want to start trading, and then go in deeper and analyze at what point or what stage in the market were we in and why did these fail? Well, let's look. This high up here. Why in the hell am I trading once a delivery has occurred? Not saying that I did take this trade, but this is how you start off. And you go in and you do your accumulation. Momentum break 1, momentum break 2. But what do you notice? Okay, so we're good on the actual stages of delivery. So what's interesting here? What's the fact that our entries should have been here? Look at where our entries were. Here, mitigating or interacting with MA, interacting with MA, interacting with MA, interacting with MA. MA is far from it. So we want to see interaction with MA. We did have, I don't think we actually took a trade in here, which is, we don't have to worry about. Once again, come back down. We said we had accumulation break 1, 2, and then failed from there. So that's not a problem. But let's step down to the 20 and see where we were in the 20. Maybe we're missing something here. Okay. We'll consider this accumulation flush back down, accumulation flush back down, accumulation break 1, break 2, break 3, break 4. I wonder why we failed. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we still supported the slow right here. So we're good. That's really good to know. Okay, so maybe stay out after the 4th break. Let's go over here. Back up to the next point. This is going to take a little bit, but this is going to do you just so good. So now, we covered this point right here. Now we're going to want to cover these points right here. Okay. Let's see where we're at in the market delivery. Accumulation to some extent. Break back down at this point. Accumulation break 1. Accumulation, targeting accumulation break 2. So we're good on phases and we're good on the MAs, right? MAs we're dragging up and that's not a problem. So we know that's not the variable, the specific variable we're trying to track. So I'm just going to replay it to make it even simpler. And now we're going to jump down to the 20. Okay, we covered this one and we already knew what happened here. I mean, we were extended accumulation 1, 2, 3, 4, breakdown. Yep. What happened here? We broke down accumulation break 1, 2, 3, failed to deliver the 4th. What happened here? Accumulation break 1, 2, 3, barely delivered the 4th, and then just fell down. Okay, accumulation break 1, 2, or accumulation 1, 2, failed to deliver the 3rd. maybe that's not the issue. Well, let's see where we were taking our entries then. We're going to put a vertical line here and see where they fell within the relative 4 hour, or hourly in this case. Okay, well, hourly, we were under MAs and pushing up. Okay, that's not too bad. Where'd the rest of our entries take place? Barely under MAs, but good entry. Like this would be over MA, over MA, over MA, over, falls back down, builds up over MA. Why did these fail? Well, technically our entries were over MA. This one wasn't, but this one was. This was over MA. This was under MA. Okay, so maybe now we can understand that the location of the MAs relative to price, they're important, but some of our best entries, well, look at where they happen. Just slightly under MAs. Over MAs, hugging the MA, slightly under MA. So maybe that's not an issue. Maybe these were completely good entries that maybe we just effed up on, right? Let's look at the 20-minute now. 20-minute, we set accumulation break 1, MMB 1, 2, fails back down. We did end up building some demand validation right there. And same with this entry, some sort of demand validation came in. So from this contextual situation, maybe we step up to the 4 hour and see what was going on here. Accumulation break 1, still holding, going on for break 2. Okay, so far so good. We have made no mistake within these 2 data points that we were looking at. Maybe it's just variance in the data and we so happen to lose them. That's okay. I don't notice anything out of anything that shouldn't be there. Does that make sense? This all seems like entries I would normally take. And on the hourly, they're well presented. They're slightly under the MAs. Before I proceed though, I'm going to turn off replay mode, go back to the 4 hour, replay to just this single area we were looking at, because this is a lot of price action to go through, a lot. We're going to jump down to the hourly and see once again where our best hourly entries were at. I'm going to delete these 2 lines. There we go. Good, 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 good. So notice my entries aren't here. My entries are up here once price starts to prove itself again. My entries are up here once the price starts to prove itself again. Why did these 2 lose? Now I'm starting to see the issue here. Where was my entry? Well, maybe at the time it was. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt on this one. It was under on this one. Over, over, over. It was over, 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 under. That failed. Over, 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 under that, slightly under that failed. Over, slightly under, over, over, over. Under, over, over. So these were good. Over, 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 over. So I hope you guys behind the scenes are looking at this price action, just thinking for yourself. Maybe you didn't see the back test, but looking at this price action, you could be saying behind the scenes, oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't have taken that. I don't know why he did. And that's how you should be thinking, because now you know you've kind of mastered your own system when you can just look at price action and say, I don't know why that guy took that, but I know that in my system I wouldn't have, or I would have, or why the hell was he trading here, right? My personal conviction comes from my own testing. So I'm not saying to go lecture me about how to trade, right? But I'm saying behind the scenes, you should be thinking in a similar way that I am. And it's like, okay, why did this work? Why didn't this? And with a 50%, well, it was like 56% win rate on this particular backtest, I'm not too worried about refining or over refining or anything like that. It's just maybe I can find something here that screams out, hey, maybe you shouldn't be trading during this time, you know? Looking at the 4 hour probably doesn't carry too much weight. Some of our best winners were good. Yeah, I mean, there's very little correlation from the 5-minute entry to the 4 hour. So I want to focus maybe a little more on the 20. And we'll just walk through each trade. Which might take just a little bit of time. But I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. Yeah, I don't want to replay to hourly old. So give me a quick second while I think this through. Okay. What I've kind of come up with is I'm just going to look at models at this point, especially on the 20-minute, and see where my best entries took place. Kind of like how I did before. Accumulation, break 1, accumulation, break 1, break 2, break 3. Past the third break, we failed back down, right? It didn't want to continue delivering to the fourth. That's where we failed down. Coming back to the 20. Accumulation, break 1, break 2, failed to deliver break 3. Okay, so those are inconsistencies between two different models, okay? We failed back down, distribution, accumulation, failed down. Where were my most successful entries? After accumulation had proven itself, right? Accumulation had proven itself. Why did these fail? Well, we failed back down, and accumulation had proved itself as well, okay? So that's not an issue, but we broke down again, and I took another entry where accumulation had not proven itself. So that's a loss I could have saved myself. We're going to see if this follows consistently with the rest of the trading session. Accumulation proves itself. Momentum break 1. This entry was taken after accumulation had proven itself on the 20-minute. After accumulation proved, failed here, but nothing to do with what we're talking about. And if we look at here, accumulation proved itself, momentum break 1, supported kind of from down here, 2, 3, failed to deliver on the 4th, kind of flushed back down. Accumulation at this point came from all the way down here, or if you want to consider this accumulation. Now this entry was pre-verified accumulation on the fractals right here, so has nothing to do with this entry. How did this entry go right here? Well, accumulation, flush down, accumulation, momentum break 1, momentum break 2. Okay, has nothing to do with that pre-accumulation type entry. Why did this one fail? Well, accumulation took place here. Money had improved itself and then came back down, and that's where we had our successful entry. Those two trades already that fail because accumulation had improved itself. Accumulation proves itself, we take our entry, and it goes. We come here, we break down, accumulation doesn't prove itself, not a successful trade, comes back, proves itself, and then we go. Breaks down, accumulation, you can consider this or this. I wouldn't consider the high that much. Accumulation proves itself, and we continue moving. Okay, breaks back down, accumulation proves itself. Okay, that's a fair loss. Kind of falls back down, but this would be momentum break 2. So this is an interesting case right here. Accumulation likely happened around here, which is valid. Falls back down, accumulation happens here, valid. Still fails, falls back down to MA. Accumulation break 1, going for momentum break 1 right here, which in that case it does end up running. Let's go back, accumulation break 1 here. Good entry, yeah, for break number 2. Awesome. Accumulation, I mean, we didn't really flush down here, so all these are good entries. We broke down, accumulation break 1. So notice this entry was below our accumulation approval, and it still worked out. This one, after accumulation and loss, a couple in here. So accumulation break 1, going for momentum break 1 up here. So these are valid entries with just some other reason they didn't run, whether it be variance of data or because we did something else we're not looking at. We break back down accumulation, kind of taking the entry within accumulation, which ended up slightly delivering not that well. Accumulation break 1, momentum break 1. These are valid, valid, valid. So nothing to do there. Accumulation break 1, going for momentum break 1. So these are valid, 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 valid. Let's see here. Accumulation, we'll consider this momentum break 1. Effectively flushed down at this point because we came far below MAs. Accumulation, so valid entry. I'd say accumulation proved itself right here. Momentum break 1, valid. Momentum break 2 kind of failed to deliver at that point, which once again doesn't fall in line with what we've been analyzing. We flush back down, accumulation, valid entry, and it goes valid entry, goes valid entry. So let's see where we're at on this market stage. Accumulation break 1, momentum break 1, momentum break 2, or if you want to consider this a flush down, accumulation break 1, momentum break 1, momentum break 2, momentum break 3, failed to deliver on the fourth. So now we know, generally 3 to 4, we want to stop looking, and it's going to flush down on the hourly, which is what we saw. Let's go here, accumulation break 1, just on the edge, good. Flushes back down, accumulation break 1, or if you want to consider this 1, momentum break 1, accumulation, momentum break 1, falls back down, accumulation, comes back to the MA, going for momentum break 1, and that's actually fair. Okay, so this is very interesting. We could have saved a couple trades, but we also did take a couple of really good trades in the accumulation. So maybe that's not something we want to look at. Let's step up to the hourly. Okay, good entry, good entry. Not really a good entry here. Good entry, good entry. Back at the MAs, back at the MAs, back at the MAs. I mean, these were, once again, we can't find the cause for these two quite yet. Maybe there's a variable that isolates these two trades. Comes back down to MAs, good, getting bought up, getting bought up, getting bought up, and then starts to fail. I want to go to highs where we failed. So this would be a very good example right here. We're at some sort of high before the collapse on the hourly. I want to identify what led to these failing, right? So if we look at this as on the hourly, this isn't too big of a flush down. So something like accumulation, momentum break 1, 2, 3. This didn't really break down, so 3. And then failed to deliver 4. Okay, that's one way you could look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or flush down, accumulation, break 1, momentum 1, momentum 2, breaks down. So we'll delete these. Accumulation 1, momentum 1, momentum 2, momentum 3, failed to deliver on the third. Or fourth, because this could have counted as flush down and 4. Okay. Interesting. Nothing too crazy there. Accumulation 1, momentum 1, fails back down, accumulation 1. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Oh, this is going to be a good one right here. So these are in like first accumulation stages, so they don't matter too much. I want to look at extensions, especially on the hourly. Accumulation 1, momentum 1, 2, failed to deliver on the third one. Flush back down, accumulation 1, momentum 1, 2, failed to deliver on the third one. Here we have a loss, accumulation 1, momentum 1, failed to deliver. So maybe on these last couple of ones right here, let's see where we were on the 4 hour. Maybe that could give us just a little bit of insight. Accumulation 1, far from the MAs at time of entry, far displaced. These are good, good, good. So yeah, this is the only thing I could see on this small data set, like very small data set, maybe a total of 25 trades, right? And yeah, maybe that could have been a little bit of insight. Back up to the hourly. The yellow trades, I'm solely focused on the yellow trades. Why did they fail? Why did I take one here? Well, maybe I should have waited for a retracement back into the hourly, given that our expansion was from all the way down here. What am I doing trading all the way up here? Now, I'm not saying I did trade this. I certainly wouldn't on the live markets, but this is going to reestablish or reaffirm what I already think about the markets. Good entries here. We came back to the MAs. Maybe not this one, but this one. Scooped by the MAs. And then the ones that did run came back to the MA. So notice the best runners tend to recollapse to the MAs, and that's where we take off. Recollapse, came to the MAs, came to the MAs, built back up. Collapse, came back to MAs, came back to MAs. These were a couple losses. Built off from that, came back to MAs, built off from that, came back. Looking at these entries, came back to MA, came back. Yeah, so notice I'm not taking entries like up here or up here. You want to see it almost like recollapse back into MA, recollapse back into MA. Same here, same here. That's where our best entries are coming from. Same here, same here. Notice where our losses are coming from. We're far extended. Accumulation, momentum break 1, momentum break 2, failed for momentum break 3. This is our like initial push, and I wouldn't trade past 2 or 3. So this is like your valid entry area. Anything past this is kind of prone for failure, and you can see that here. Our best entries were down here. Same here. Accumulation, you're already far displaced from the initial accumulation push, and that's what happened. Accumulation to some extent from here. Pushes away, comes back. Like this one, maybe. So I want to keep this video short. Holy shit, half an hour already. Okay, well, I just wanted to break down this idea and hopefully it brings some light or shed some light into your guys' backtesting. I encourage you guys to do this. Now, I chose to focus on an area where price action was not clear at all and where we took a lot of break-evens to give us insight into maybe how can we stop or start staying out of zones like these where we're taking entries that's very high. Or yeah. And a lot of this ties back to the 5-hour backtest I did a couple days ago, where I wanted to answer the question, how extended is too extended? And, well, this is a perfect diagram that goes and shows that, right? Red, perfect entries. Yellow, don't take. Green is like hot zones, areas to start looking for trades. Notice most of the green circles is where it delivered. Maybe not here, not here, not here. Delivers. Look at where I take my entries. Probably nothing in here, really. I mean, this was kind of just chop. Delivers, fails to deliver, and then I'm done. Interesting, huh? So I'm not going to go through and do this for every price zone I mapped out, but you can get a very good idea for what's going on in here. Anyhow, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hopefully this does help a little bit. I know it's very confusing, especially if you're getting started. There's a lot going on here, but yeah, just notice where my entries are at. Notice where the failed entries were at. And I'm going to take this into consideration, given that I'm about to start a new backtest right now. And I'm really going to use this and emphasize this in the upcoming backtest, which I'll be posting likely tomorrow. So let me get this video out to you guys real quick.